Apart from good governance, industrialization is another strategy that could develop and expand any economy. And that's what we've seen in Owo, an ancient town in Ondo State. Welcome to the Sunshine State. Welcome to Community Forum. I am Sarah Yeku. Let's journey to the Sunshine State, Ondo, southwest Nigeria. A land with a very rich origin, having 18 local government areas. A land with a beautiful landscape with a dash of hills and greens overlooking buildings. We're heading to Owo, which is about 55 kilometers from Akure, the state capital. Owo is an ancient town, and the rusty roofs tell it all. It is located midway between Ile-Ife and Benin on the eastern border of the Yoruba land. It traces its origin back to the ancient city of Ile-Ife, the cradle of Yoruba culture. Since the first settlers arrived at Iloro quarters of the ancient town in 1980, Owo has remained one of the most important towns in Yoruba land. It has a rich history that its indigenes are proud of, with a culture that is a blend between Yoruba and Benin traditions. The fairly large town of Owo is some 70 miles north of Benin and about 100 miles east of Ife. Around the community, old colonial buildings can be noticed. Owo also has a rich political history, which many of its indigenes are eager to share.
This building attests to the fact that Owo has always been occupying a very important place in the politics of the Western region and by extension, the politics of Nigeria. If you look at the architectural design of this building, you will of course see that it's a replica of what you have in Ibadan, the one that was built in 1929 by the colonialists. This building hosted the inaugural meeting of the Action Group. The Action Group, led by late sage Awolowo. Then, the convergence of the eminent sons of Yoruba land, Sir Ladoke Akintola, Sir Bode Thomas, and the monarch of our then, Sir Olateru Olagbegi, Knight of British Empire. This is Owo, where the inaugural meeting of Action Group was held during the First Republic. And in addition to that, our indigenes have always playing a very important role in the political development of Nigeria. You have Pa Adekunle Ajashi of blessed memory, is from this community. Even the Kabiyesi I made mention of the other time was a minister with a portfolio in the Western State government then, and the president of Western House of Chiefs during the First Republic. That is Sir Olateru Olagbegi. And today, if you consider the contemporary political setting, you will realize that by providence and by grace, Owo as a community too is where the current governor of Ondo State hails from. So our people, when it comes to politics, they are politically conscious, they are politically exposed, and they are politically educated at the same time. So that is Owo for you.
Dressing, beliefs, and festivals hold important places in the culture of Owo.
The Loros are known for the custodian of customs, rituals, and spirituality of our kingdom. And this is part of our heritage, part of what our ancestors brought from Ife. So we have it in different parts of our, it's basically for protection, peace, and progress of the town. So whenever we are in the period of Igogo Festival, the Ugbama Loros, the Ayeyos, that is the age grade groups, each time we come here, we have our rights.
The Olowo's Palace can be compared to a town on its own, as it lies upon 180 acres of land with about 1,000 inner rooms, several courtyards, a museum, and a central market, directly sited by the side of the main palace. It is generally regarded as the largest palace in Africa, and it was declared a national monument by the federal government in the year 2000.
Ẹ̀wú mọ́ lọ́rọ̀ ọgbọ́lúwa yóò díro òkun àrábàrìbì òpin bámá òpin yọmá òṣèyèrè sọmọsẹ dídọ́mà kájọ ọ̀rẹ́ kẹ́tẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ kẹ́tẹ́ òǹdẹ̀bẹ̀ ẹjọ́ kẹ́bọ̀nyìn rẹ̀ òǹdẹ̀bẹ̀ pa ẹ̀wú mọ́ lọ́rọ̀ ó kọ́ làdàmọ̀ kùyẹ̀kùyẹ̀ ó kọ́ ti tó kù sí ẹ̀gbọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀wú mọ́ lọ́rọ̀ bàbá o wàrẹ̀ yóò dìbà tó á jẹ pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ o.
Owo's history is one many of its indigenous and traditional rulers tell with pride.
Owo is an ancient kingdom. It was founded in the year 1019 AD or thereabouts by the first Olowo of Owo, Oba Ojugbelu, who happened to be one of the sons of Oduduwa. He migrated from Ife, just like his other siblings who went on the great dispersal. He was accompanied by those who were to aid him, who were to assist him. He was given some men and women who migrated with him. The people are called Uloros, the Loro. They left Ife with the Olowo. They left with tradition, culture of the Yoruba. Ever since then, there had been various successive Olowo. This great kingdom has been known for its unique culture and tradition. We have since then preserved our culture and tradition, and in the course of it, we've had great festivals which we still hold in reverence to this present time. One of it is the Igogo festival known globally. The Igogo festival is a festival of love. It started during the reign of Oloworin Genje. There was a woman, a goddess, so to say, called Oronshem, who suddenly appeared in the kingdom here. She was so beautiful. She wouldn't marry the king because he had taboos, which must never be broken. The king promised that the taboos will be preserved and will never be broken. The other wives, the other queens of the king became jealous. The other queens conspired among themselves and broke the taboos in her presence, one after the other. The queen, Oronshe, departed the palace and ran to the forest called Ubulaja. Eventually, they saw her, but she said she was in love with the king, but that she would never come back to the palace again. She was persuaded, she refused. She now told the delegates that the king sent that she will still be with the king in spirit, and she will still be of protective. She will still be of protection to the kingdom as a whole, but that the king should institute a festival in her honor. That during that festival, leather drums must never be beaten. That only gongs should be beaten during the period. Gongs, agogo. So hence the word Igogo festival was derived from agogo, Igogo festival. So since the reign of Obarin Genje in the year 1300 AD, that was when the festival started, Igogo festival. During that period, the king would dress like a woman, like in honor of the queen, Oronshe. The king would plait his hair like a woman. Everything about the king would be like that of the woman, and other chiefs too as well.
The courtyards in the palace are known as Uga. They are dedicated to the worship of their ancestors and kings. Each courtyard is dedicated to a particular deity and has a special function. It is a place of artistic heritage. Beautiful signs are printed upon the clay walls, replete with the traditions and culture of the people. Many of the courtyards are symbolic, and traditional rites and ceremonies are performed occasionally. This building is the final resting place for many kings in Owo. The king's chariot is also here and has been used for generations. And here's the sacred stone, Akomaduse. This sacred place is Uga Akomaduse, and its symbolic importance lies in the presence of this stone. It is a place where people swear by touching the sand, and that is why no matter the reconstruction that takes place here, the sand must be left bare. The busy Ojauba is located in the Owo Palace, and it also has its place in history.
Òkúta tó wà wájú mi ìyàwó ọlọ́wọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ṣẹ̀ nígbà tó fi ààfin lẹ̀ bí àwọn ibi tó gbà kọjá nípa ọdún gógó tí ọlọ́wọ̀ bá fi ń ṣe ìrántí ẹ̀ tí gbogbo ìlú fi ń ṣe ọdún gógó festival ọlọ́wọ̀ láti wá bí tó bá jó ráńdì tó bá jó káàkiri ìlú tán ó láti wá ṣe bámbí ó dẹ̀ máa jó ráńdì bí ní ẹ̀ẹ̀méje kó tó bẹ̀ sí wọnú ààfin padà tó bá ọlọ́wọ̀ bá ti jó ń bì á jó lọ ìsàlẹ̀ lọ́hùn á tún jó padà wá bí round lẹ́ẹ̀méje.
Right inside the palace is a museum that was founded in the year 1968 and then declared as a national monument by the federal government in 2000. It contains and preserves histories and significant archaeological artifacts and ethnographic materials discovered in the Owo area. At the first section of the museum is a collection of a picture of fossils unearthed in 1965 in Iwo Eleru. The discoveries at Iwo Eleru, Ondo State include skeletal remains of the oldest known man in West Africa, who lived some 12,000 years ago, and skeletal remains of the earliest man. Ancient tools were said to have been found along with the fossil. These are stones and wooden tools specially made for cutting and for agricultural purposes. They provide evidence of the beginning of the agricultural ways of life in the forest region in which Owo is situated. Owo, an agricultural center, is growing in leaps and bounds, and it is a trade center, a melting pot for all tribes and investors, even as development continues.
With the adventure of our governor, Arakunrin Akeredolu, with his initiatives, he opened a land called Ijugbere, where he encouraged especially men in cocoa and plantain suckers, to the extent of giving them free of charge, both lands, cocoa seeds, cocoa suckers. He gave up to 15 plots per person. In the olden days, especially Southwest, particularly Ondo State, are well known as cocoa producers. So he now made it a point of duty that he did that one as sort of palliatives, empowerment, that one can, take and as remittance for future.
We want to appreciate this government in particular for the exposure it has given to our war. For any development to take place, the first thing we always advocate is for government to put infrastructure in place. And going around, we will see that there are a number of infrastructures that are now being put in place. Good road, in particular, light is becoming more effective, and the atmosphere, which is, the first and foremost, of all things, the atmosphere is genuinely conducive towards industrial development. The people seem to be ready for that purpose. But overall, Owo is uniquely placed from the colonial days. Owo has been uniquely placed because of in fact, Owo is the midpoint between Abuja and Lagos. So that's why in these days you find a lot of people coming, either stay over before proceeding. And in the past, Owo also used to be the mid-place between Lagos and Enugu, in the east, before the road already was created. So Owo has been unique in a number of things. Besides the atmosphere that is very conducive, besides the weather that is very friendly, we are lucky to also have the necessary human resources. Necessary human resources because the people are disciplined, the people are prepared for investment, and the land is also there. We are very lucky with the plain land. That's why you find the entire people of Akoko, Ekiti, and part of Akure in the past, up to Ijesha and Ife, coming to Owo to settle for the purpose of putting their development here. And if you also look at the immediate past, there is John Holt, G.B. Olivant, the Rantries, and so on and so forth, that came to Owo to put business in place. That was why amongst the most productive cocoa producing and selling point is Owo. And of course, you have the cocoa board.
Like other prominent Yoruba towns, Owo stands tall, passing tradition from generations to generations. Its indigenes continue to soar higher, making marks in several areas of human endeavor. And this is the story of the famous Owo, the frontier Yoruba town.
That wraps it up on this edition of Community Forum, but don't forget you can watch this episode, previous or subsequent episodes on our YouTube channel. You can also get in touch with us, invite us to your communities, tell us what's going on, tell us what we need to know in your various communities on the various social media platforms displayed on your screen. Many thanks for watching. I am Sarah Ayuku. I'll see you next time.